we're on here. So welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yes, welcome everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Candace. My name is Leroy Slava. I'm the co-founder and director of Property Pick, and this is Candace van Wyk, my business partner and also my sister.
Yes, hello everyone. It's good to have you all online, and yeah, so we're the co-founders of Property Pick, and we're looking forward to having this first webinar with you all. Hopefully, it's going to be a good time together, and we're looking at doing these webinars every Wednesday. And yeah, and that's just to add value, not just only to our all our investors and sellers who are subscribed to our platform, but to all of you out there. As the theme for the webinars are get property wise. So we believe now is a good time to get property wise.
Yeah, and I think why we started it as it's just to share ideas, share information, share knowledge. It's interesting times out there now in the world, in South Africa and in the property market. So what we want to do is get together weekly to share ideas, share information, find out what your views are as well, on property, on anything property related. But I think before we get into it, Candace, I think let's just tell them a little bit about why we started Property Pick. So Property Pick, we started Property Pick in 2018. We thought about it before that for a few years, but then we started it in 2018. Microsoft helped us put it together, and the idea was, being investors ourselves, we bought quite a lot of properties at auctions, sheriff's auctions, and we found that the properties that are being sold at sheriff's auctions are being sold for a discount, and that the previous owners are in a worse position than what they were before the auction. So I called Candace. I said, listen, let's put together a platform where people that need to sell their houses quickly, that are either financially distressed or whatever the issue is, and they need to sell their property, let's create a platform where they can come to this platform, load their properties on, sell it potentially at a discount, and investors can come and put offers in and buy these properties. So that was the idea. The idea was for Property Pick was to help people sell their properties, and so it doesn't go to the auctions or doesn't get repossessed, and so the idea was to help people, and that's why we put this together. So we've been 2018, so it's been about 2 years, and yeah, so it's been growing, we're learning, we're improving it every month, every year, and yeah, so it's exciting times for us on this.
No, definitely, Leroy, definitely exciting times. And I mean, you and I chatted the other day, and we said that, we believe that Property Pick was actually birthed for a time such as this.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, I mean, our number one priority or objective was really, to help people sell their properties quickly or in difficult times. And I mean, I think we're definitely going to be moving into that, that type of situation going forward. So I really think that this is definitely another option and another platform, to help people really who are in difficult times, and, they need to sell before they lose their home. So yeah, I think we definitely launched the right platform to help those people.
Yeah. So I think what we'll be here for is, especially, look, for now, I think after lockdown, and what we've actually, the main goal is to actually help people not to lose their properties. I think, Candace, that's the main goal. The main goal is not to sell your house, is to see how we can help people not lose their properties. That was the main purpose of it. And I think after lockdown, that's what we want to do. If people want to contact us, if they've got properties and they are finding themselves in a position where the business has closed or they've been retrenched, to say, listen, and they don't know what to do with the property, say, listen, call us, send us an email. We'll call you back to have a discussion and just find out where we can help you and see how we can help you move forward and navigate through these difficult times. Hence our topic for next week. So this is our first time doing the Facebook Live. So this week is just an introduction, tell you who we are, what we're about, what we'll be doing, and then next week we'll be covering topics every week. Next week our topic is actually how to save your home
after COVID-19.
After COVID-19, and that's what we want to do. So because it's there, and it's also to connect with investors, obviously, that are looking out to buy investment properties as well.
Yeah,
so,
no, for sure. So I think we've given everyone just a little bit of an introduction on who we are, why we touched a little bit on why we've started these Wednesday chats. So we're going to be doing more of them every week. Like Leroy said, next week it's going to be creative ways on how to save your home. So we're going to be sharing some of our ideas, our insights. So what Leroy actually forgot to mention earlier on is that he and I have been, in the property space for quite a couple of years already. Our experience together, is over 15 years of experience in the property market. And we've also had the opportunity to educate people throughout South Africa, in property over the last couple of years, starting 2015, 2016. So it's really been an awesome journey for us. So we're very passionate also about helping people, move their goals forward through property. And hence one of the reasons why we want to have these conversations, these chats going forward. But I think, Roy, maybe just to talk about the market, so, I mean, what is your... Okay, so for the live chat, I must call you Leroy.
Voice fine. Okay, Candy.
Okay, great stuff. So yeah, so I think let's just maybe talk about. I mean, what do you see happening in the property market at the moment? I mean, what is your perception on things?
Look, I focus mainly on the residential market, affordable market, and what I believe. Look, obviously, as we said, it's tough times. People can't go to work. Some people are getting half paid. Some people are not getting paid. Businesses are closing. So it's tough times in here. And coming out of here, it's not. I don't think it's going to get easier. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Which means, talking from an investor's point of view, that there will potentially be a lot of properties up for sale, and potentially you'll be able to negotiate better prices for it. So I think that from an investor side, that there will be deals, right? If you buy the deal in the right area, they'll obviously after COVID, there'll always be buyers too, depending on what your strategy is after this. So I believe that for an investor, I believe now's the time to actually do the research, rev it up, get the education, that when you come out of COVID, that there will be a lot of deals available. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, so I mean, I definitely agree with you. I definitely think that it is a buyer's market. I mean, so many businesses have closed already, I mean, due to what's happened over the last couple of weeks. So they were basically forced to close their doors. And I mean, that's going to affect a lot of people's household income as a result. And yes, the banks are giving us, some relief, 2-3 months, depending on your bank and what you've negotiated there. So I think obviously that's also going to help. But I mean, after that, what happens after that? So there's definitely going to be, some challenging times for a lot of people. I also think the fact that, I mean, it's been a buyer's market for a while now, and I think that's just going to, go to another level in terms of opportunities for people looking to buy maybe their first home or investing in property. But the other exciting thing is that, I mean, we know that our repo rate has dropped significantly, twice, in fact, over the last couple of weeks, which is good. For sure. And I mean, as a result, the interest rates have come down, which is really good. So I definitely think, I mean, I've obviously been also spending some time, reading the news and some business articles. And I believe that, this is the first time, since the 1990s that our interest rate has been this low. So, definitely massive opportunities coming up for people who are wanting to buy property at this time, because obviously we are in a position where we can still negotiate, prime less for buying those deals. So that means that it just makes the numbers a little bit more attractive. But yeah, Leroy, I think definitely a lot of good opportunities coming up. But I personally think, after lockdown, I think one should maybe just wait, maybe just a couple of months, just check out the market, see how things are moving. Before you actually start making real purchase decisions, so rather use this lockdown time and even the couple of months after lockdown just to kind of, do your due diligence, run the numbers, do a little bit of research online, just see what property trends are looking like. But definitely lots and lots of opportunities coming up in the property market.
No, I think you're right. I think don't make any big decisions now.
Yeah.
Just see what's out there, because these are times no one has been in these times before, so we don't know what's going to happen after this, right? We've got our views, but I like what Miguel from ABSA said. He said, listen, now's the time. He says, just survive this. Survive this, and then let's see going forward how things are gonna change. The world has changed. So, and what I've actually been experiencing in a couple of my properties is that in one property with tenants as well. So it's been affecting us on the tenant side as well. That on a couple of the properties, the tenants have been paying on, and I've had to make arrangements with the others on the other properties. So it's been interesting because so I was actually fortunate on because on one property I started on the Boksburg building, Candace. I started tenanting in Feb.
Yeah.
I started tenanting in Feb, and then we got in about 5 odd people into the units, and then it was lockdown. And I must say, during lockdown, I actually got so much, what do you call this? Interest in the property. Then after lockdown, I had 10 people move in now the 1st of May, and I'm actually getting a lot more inquiries. So on that one, it's actually going quite well. On the other ones, I had a lot of people that could pay half or one. So I think, and you can't be on that side. You can't be difficult and say no. You have to pay or whatever. You have to work with them. How the bank is working with us.
Yes.
So we have to work with them.
No, definitely. I think everyone's factually going through some difficult times in certain areas, whether you are a landlord today or whether you are a tenant. And if maybe not today, some challenges could come up in the next couple of weeks. But definitely, I mean, with the interest rates dropping and getting a little bit of a discount there, I mean, we can potentially pass on those discounts to some of our tenants who are going through difficult times. And especially considering, that they've been good tenants. So yeah, we need to look at how we can all work together and help each other through, these difficult times, and we'll pull through.
Sure, should always. I think we're talking about the residential market. The commercial is even different. Look, I don't invest in commercial personally. I'm just a lot focused on residential, but yeah, I don't think now's a good time to offices, retail space. I think they even are having a harder time, eh?
Yeah, but one of the things I was thinking about now, over the last while is obviously if you're in the commercial space. I mean, if you think about it, only the essential services or companies within the essential services space have been able to operate to a degree. So I mean, one of the things that I've been thinking about for myself, in terms of going forward is, how can one become a little bit more relevant within the essential services space, even as far as property is concerned. I mean, if you think about the industries that are operating at the moment, how are you able to, if this is a strategy for you going forward? I mean, it's something that I've thought about. You and I are planning to do another residential building. And I mean, one of the things that I said to you was initially it wasn't part of the plan to bring in some retail at the bottom in terms of some, food stores. But I think you need to look at the future and think if something like this potentially happens again, how are you going to be able to at least generate some sort of income, if you experience challenges on the other side? So I think going into mixed use strategies, I think is definitely one of the things that one needs to consider as an investor, so that you can just be better prepared for the future. And I think this thing caught a lot of us off guard.
True.
And yeah,
I think it caught everyone off guard.
But yeah, I mean,
but I think not all doom and gloom. I think it's actually good. I think this was actually a good time for me to think, see if you're still on the right track, do some planning, do some strategizing. And I like one pastor actually said, Bill Winston, and I always remember this. He said, I see we got a few questions here. We'll get to the questions now. Gaino, Sita, Crystal. Okay, we'll get to the questions now. And he said, no problems, no profit. So that actually stuck with me, that the only way that the way that you prosper and you make money is you need to come up with a solution to a problem. Right?
Yes.
That's correct. So now we're experiencing quite a bit of problems. I think more problems than the world has ever experienced. And if you are creative and you can come up with a solution to people's problems, you can actually survive and prosper during these times.
No, for sure. And I think that goes for any business model. I mean, if you are thinking of entrepreneurship, and I think, that's probably going to be one of the things that will be helping people moving forward, is that you need to start thinking of, different ways of solving problems so that it could potentially bring in additional income, So I think everyone's going to be tasked or challenged with that, even if you are secure in a job today. I mean, there's no guarantee that you're going to be secure in that job, a couple of months or even a couple of years from today. So I think now it's definitely the time to be a little bit more innovative, be creative, see some of the problems that people are facing today, and then, try and find a creative and innovative way of how you are able to bring some sort of solution, to that target audience. And I think we need to then move it forward from that point onwards.
Yeah, and especially we're going to be focusing more on the property side and how to solve people's problems on the property side of it. Because coming up now, we are going to have to solve a lot of people's problems now. I've actually got quite a few leads during this time to analyze and people that want to sell their properties now. So obviously you need to work with them and see how you can help them solve their problems. And obviously and make it a business for yourself as well.
Yes. Now, I think I'm just conscious of time, Leroy. So I think we're in 23 minutes. We've got some questions. I think let's just try and answer, some of the questions here. There's not much, but we've got our first person. So Gaina's got a question. She says, so you're saying that interest rates and opportunities could become more favorable a couple of months after the lockdown. Do you want to respond, or do you want me to?
I spoke to a guy from Absa the other day, and now they believe that it could still come down slightly. I can't confirm that. I think it could still come down slightly, but there's I think it's huge. There's a big chance that interest rates will come down slightly, and then it'll be like that for a while, and probably go up again after a few months or so. But
Yeah, but I think she's asking, so interest rates could become more favorable. So, okay, no, so definitely remember what we said. So because the interest rates have come down, yes, we could anticipate another drop. We're not sure. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks to months, but that could be another opportunity there. And then you must remember as well, you know, like we said, you know, banks have given people some sort of relief for a couple of months, but obviously all those people who have lost their jobs or their source of income at this time, I mean, and they currently own property at the moment, of course, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for them going forward, you know, to pay those, to make those bond repayments. So we definitely think that there will definitely be more favorable opportunities going forward. I think with the fact that interest rates have come down already, and with the fact that, you know, some people will need to sell quickly, I think there could be an opportunity to obviously negotiate with sellers. But of course, we always try and look for win-win situations, you know, so that the seller, you know, also benefits from the purchase, from the deal, and then of course the person buying the property. But definitely a lot of opportunities. But you know, maybe just I would just this is just my guidance, would be just to wait a couple of weeks after lockdown or months, you know, just analyze the property market trends and do your research, run your numbers, and then of course you make a decision from there onwards. And then we've got our next person here. So this is Sita. He says, what's the range in property price you consider affordable market? So I think that was something I mentioned. So affordable market, Sita, so when we're talking about buying properties, is generally was considered between about 400,000, you know, up to $1 million, just depending on the areas, because you must remember that looking at different areas, you know, there's a different market within that area. So affordable for a specific area might not be affordable, but generally it ranges between about 400,000 and it can go up to about $1 million. Of course, yeah, you know that there's also no transfer fees that you pay up to $1 million on a property, which obviously makes it a little bit more affordable for people to get within that market. I don't know if you want to add anything there.
Yeah, can I just add to that? So I think now if you're looking at investing and post-COVID, I think those are the type of properties you want to look at, from 300,000, 400,000, 200. You can get flats for 200,000, there's some for 180, depending on the areas. You know, look from that price point up until $1 million. Anything, I think if you want to go higher than that, 2 million, and I think that those are not the you don't want to play around there. So the below $1 million mark, I think those properties will still sell. We'll still have tenants for them. So I don't know if some of you want to write this down. I think you want to look for properties that the average person can afford to buy, and that the average person can afford to rent. Yeah, so those are the type of properties that you want to look for after this. And I hope that answers your question there. I see Sita's asking, can they move in?
Sita. Oh, another Sita.
Yeah, Sita letter. Move-ins, are they allowed on level 4? Sita, I don't think they're allowed, but people are moving in anyway at their own risk. They're not allowed. I've got a property where people are they're paying and we're saying, listen guys, you have to move in after COVID. They say, listen, I have to move in now, and obviously if they have to move in, we say you're moving in at your own risk. I'm not going to stop them from moving in. People are moving in. So you're not allowed, but they are moving in. Leon also has a question there. Agree with prepare now, the patience, good for opportunities, compassion. Very likely that we will dip in and out of these lockdown levels as big flares hit some areas. So rocky road, yes. Yeah, thanks for the comment there, Leon. Lionel, Zinclair, we see you. Iris, Chris is also there. Oh, how are you? Leroy. Yeah, guys, so if you got any more questions, then as we said, this is our first one. As you can see, we working our way through the technology now. This is our first Facebook Live. The next one will probably be better and flowing a bit better, but it was good. So
yeah, no, for sure. Let me just see, I've got some more comments here. So this is on one of my pages. So yeah, so Paul just says, yeah, I call it a snort club, but we are resilient and we'll bounce back. I believe so, Paul. You know, as South Africans, I mean, we always bounce back. And you say, yeah, do you predict the residential rental market to see an increase in demand? So my personal view is I definitely think that the residential market, there will be demand going forward. But as we mentioned, within the affordable space, or what is generally affordable for the average South African out there, because if you think about it, those people who are going to be forced to, to sell their homes at this time, if there's no other way to basically save that home. And next week, we'll get into ways of how you can actually save your home if you are finding yourself in a stressful situation. But let's just say you've explored all of those options and you're basically still at a stage where you need to sell quickly. Then we do believe that those people will obviously have to find properties to rent in the meantime, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So, of course, there will be an increase in demand from that perspective. So I think there's definitely an opportunity within the rental space. But once again, you always need to make sure that you've done your area research, you understand what the demand is, and then also you've run your numbers to just make sure that you're going to be generating, profit income from the rent that you're collecting every month.
But Candice, I think before we end, if I think with that, let me just add this. I think what we say in the property space is SAP. I don't know if you remember this strategy, right? First, find out what do you want to do in property. What's your strategy? Do you want to go into multi-lets? Do you want to rent out the rooms? Do you want to go into buying and selling? Do you want to go into commercial, student accommodation? Whatever it is, find out what you want to do, right? And then find out where that works. So if you want to go into affordable, where's the demand for flats? Where's the demand for townhouses? Where's the demand for rooms? Then find an area and analyze the area and do your research. And once you've done your research, then you go in and you buy the property.
Yeah.
Right. So I think with anything, whatever it is, in the first, find out what you want to do. I want to buy and sell. I want to go into student accommodation. I want to go into commercial, which I wouldn't say go into now, or whatever it is. All right. Okay. Candy showing me time here. Then find an area where that works. Student accommodation doesn't work everywhere. Universities are closed. Don't do that anyway now. Let's see what happens later. And then you go buy the property. Right. But we'll weekly we'll be talking about more of this, sharing more ideas and more of our experiences.
No, for sure. So everyone, thanks for joining us. I mean, I'm very conscious of the time. We did say it was going to be a half-an-hour chat. So if you've got further comments, please do comment, on our Facebook pages, on Property Pick. For those of you who haven't subscribed to Property Pick, just go and like the page because we're going to be doing these weekly. For those of you who want to visit the website and just see what it's all about, you can find us on www.propertypick.co.za. So I'll just say that again, www.propertypick.co.za, and then we'll obviously see you guys next week again. Awesome.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Have a good day. God bless.
Great stuff. God bless you. Thanks, Leroy.
Bye.